Hello and welcome to Ryno's Ravens preview. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. So it's Steelers week. Last one of the year, last game of the year. Pittsburgh Steelers coming into Baltimore to play the Ravens. And as we all know, the Ravens don't have anything to play for. Except for not getting more injuries. That's about it. So let's get into the injury. You see a few names that are already listed as out. Odell Beckham, Malik Harrison, Marlon Humphrey, Lamar Jackson, Daryl Worley actually placed on injured reserve, and Kevin Zeitler also out. Take a look at some of the injuries that some of these guys are trying to recover from, as well as field 53 guys to be able to play this game. Or I guess technically you only got to field 11. Bare minimum that you can have active, I guess. Actively playing in the game, we'll say. Ronald Darby's going through illness. He's probably going to be okay because it is just an illness. Have to get over the illness first, but nothing listed Tuesday. So it looks like you got this illness in between Tuesday and Wednesday. Didn't participate in practice Wednesday or Thursday. And if you look at the injury report starting on Tuesday, it's because the game is scheduled for Saturday afternoon. Zay Flowers listed as doubtful. Darby was questionable with the illness. Zay Flowers going through a calf problem. Didn't participate Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. He is listed as doubtful. Some of these guys are going to have to play. Like I said, this isn't preseason. There's not 90 guys. So some of these guys are going to have to play. You can't sit everybody. You don't have an even number, 11 total backup players that you can say, hey, you get in there and all your starters rest. It doesn't really quite work out as neatly as that. Kyle Hamilton, still with that knee problem, limited Tuesday and Thursday, did not participate Wednesday. He's listed as questionable. Arthur Millette got a bit of a hip problem, limited Tuesday and Wednesday, full participant Thursday. So he's listed as questionable, but he should be available. Del'Shawn Phillips, shoulder issue, limited Tuesday and Wednesday, full participant Thursday. He's one of the backups, really. More special teamers, too. Does a lot of special team work. So definitely looks like he'll be available to take most of the snaps. Patrick Queen, having that shoulder collarbone issue, limited participant Tuesday and Wednesday, full participant Thursday. I would look for him to get a lot of rest, if not even suit up for this game, because he has been dealing with an injury. And I think there are a few linebackers that that are at least more healthy than Patrick Queen right now. So should see more guys like Malik Harrison is actually listed as out, but Del'Shawn Phillips should get a lot more work. Brandon Stevens dealing with that ankle injury, still limited Tuesday and Wednesday, full participant Thursday, listed as questionable, so he looks to be getting back into shape. Kyle Van Noy on this injury report as a middle linebacker? Okay. However, call it whatever you want. Calf injury, limited Tuesday and Wednesday, full participant Thursday. So it looks like he'll be available. But look to see him not in there as much, trying to get his some rest because he is one of the older guys. Ardarius Washington, pectoral issue, limited participant Wednesday and Thursday. He has been bouncing on and off the active roster for a bit now. It's one of those guys that can be on a practice squad, I think. Officially listed as questionable. And as I mentioned, Daryl Worley and Zeitler are out. Kind of surprised that Stanley isn't listed on here at all. He's having a lot of lower body injuries. Though they may want him to play because McCary might actually be their best, healthiest tackle. So we'll see exactly what happens. It looks like this platoon situation, at least between Stanley and McCary, it looks like that's actually working out pretty good. So look for that to continue. And the Steelers, well, I'll get to them a little bit later. We're sticking with the Ravens now, talking about news. Why did I close this one? Listing some of the roster moves that were made here. Ryan Mink, editorial director for BaltimoreRavens.com. If I didn't mention that, this website is BaltimoreRavens.com. And really, this is where I got that information that Worley had been placed on IR in Mr. Mink's article, and that Jeremiah Moon, who has been up and down from the practice and the active roster, will be active for this game against the Steelers. And on a bigger note, the New York Jets released Dalvin Cook recently, and through the waiver process, as you can see in this headline right here, so I don't know who actually wrote this. I guess it's more of a league announcement, really, than somebody was responsible for writing this article, because, it's a transaction. Hey, Ravens waiver claim sign Dalvin Cook for playoffs. Now, nothing's official yet. He's not officially going to play for the Baltimore Ravens in the playoffs because it's not going to be for another week or two. You get him into practice and he looks like trash, or he gets hurt and you won't see him play for the Baltimore Ravens. But the plan right now, according to the Baltimore Ravens website here, is that Dalvin Cook will play for the Baltimore Ravens during the playoffs. Now, you might be thinking why. Well, it's pretty easy. Yes, Dalvin Cook, he's going to be somewhat expensive for a short-term rental, but Dobbins with the injury earlier in the year, Keaton Mitchell with the injury a little later in the year. You got Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards is more the hammer-type, battering ram type running back. Justice Hill is more of an all-around running back, I think. And Melvin Ingram he does have skill. The problem is he hasn't played much. So I definitely think adding Dalvin Cook to this running back room increases its effectiveness. One would hope. Dalvin Cook's numbers are not good with the Jets. So why they cut him? Not rushing for many yards, not really involved in much of the playing, though it's the Jets. The Jets have not had a good season. So do you expect their big money running back to have really done anything? No, I figured half the team didn't even play because they're the Jets. When was the last time they had a good year? But one man's trash is another man's treasure, hopefully, and Dalvin Cook will help the Ravens in a deep playoff run. But we will have to wait several weeks to find that out. All right, checking out the schedule here. You see this week 18, Saturday, 4:30 p.m. at M&T Bank Stadium, Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Let's look at the playoff picture. As you can see, the Ravens here 13-3, Dolphins 11-5. Ravens have clinched the top seed in the AFC. And honestly, looking at the Niners record here as 12-4, the Ravens have clinched the best record in the National Football League, because even if the Niners win and the Ravens lose, the Ravens get the tiebreaker scenario because they won the head-to-head. So, though I'm not exactly sure that's how they figure out who's the home team or who's the away team in the Super Bowl, which is kind of silly. Now you can see the Dolphins have clinched their stuff. Chiefs, Browns all clinched a spot. Here's who's leading in the final three spots. Jacksonville Jaguars are currently winning the South. The Bills and the other team from Indianapolis there are some wild card folks. Two teams still in the hunt. The other team from the NFC South, which is so odd. But, however, the Texans, but they're going to need some help. Well, they are playing Indianapolis here. So, pretty much the winner of this game between Indianapolis and Houston will be a wild card. Here you see the Steelers are still in it. They do need a win. They need a win, and then they need help. They need losses from at least two of these teams: Jacksonville, Indianapolis, or Houston. Well, you can't get two losses between Indianapolis and Houston, so you really need Jacksonville to lose also. And you need a win, which isn't going to be too hard, and that's why the word is the Steelers aren't resting people. They're going to be playing 120% out there. They don't want to miss the playoffs again for a second straight year, so they're going to be playing their tails off. Not that you would expect anything less from in a Ravens-Steelers game, and I guess that is technically why they flexed it, because the Steelers have something to play for. If they win and they get a Jacksonville loss, they should be in the playoffs, because that would be 10-7 for the Steelers, and then that would be 9-8 for the Jaguars, and the Steelers would get that wild card spot. But I don't know. I don't see Tennessee losing, but I don't see Tennessee winning, but who knows? All right, let's wrap this up. Pittsburgh Steelers coming in at M&T Bank Stadium for the final game of the regular season here. Steelers have something to play for. Steelers do need a win to get into the playoffs. They will also need some help, so we'll have to be keeping an eye on the Jaguars-Titans game. And Bills, I think they also could. There is a scenario if the Bills lose. But it's not like Miami's playing for anything either. Miami isn't playing for anything, but the Buffalo Bills are playing for something. So, could make for somewhat of an interesting weekend, because there are several teams playing for something. So, there won't be many teams, at least televised, that will be playing for nothing. But our team, Baltimore Ravens, aren't really playing for anything. They're playing for health. Playing for staying healthy going into the playoffs, because they got the first round bye. But yet, they still have to play the football game tomorrow, Saturday, 4:30, at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Going to do it for this edition of Ryno's Ravens Preview. Ryno's Ravens Review. Yeah, I think no, there's really something else I gotta really do Sunday. So really look for Ryno's Ravens Review to be dropped Monday. Still, it's probably the best And yeah, but be sure to like the video and subscribe, and you'll be notified whenever it does drop. So you don't have to worry about my wonky schedule getting you all confused. I am the Angry Rhino. Fly, Ravens, fly.